It was called Video Power, and in addition to some game tips, there was a cartoon show called The Power Team. It was more or less a ripoff of the much more popular Captain and the Game Master, but featured characters from games published by Acclaim rather than Nintendo. The main character from Narc, Max Force, and the rest of the team fight against Mr. Big, the main villain from Narc, as well as other villains. The Power Team is worse than Captain N in every way possible.
The next shipment of tomatoes down this road will have to stop when they see these cows. Then we take them.
But I still loved it back in the 90s. Narc on the NES is a direct port of the arcade game by Williams. The arcade version featured really impressive sound and voices, and great graphics for the time too. Today you can play it on Midway Arcade Treasures 2 on Xbox, PS2, or GameCube. What's the deal with that buzzing sound? The first time I noticed it, I thought there was something wrong with my TV. Was silence not an option? Maybe they were just trying to torture you into pressing start. When you do, you'll notice a hand come down to type in a code on the Narc scanner. Maxi. It's Maxi? The main characters in the game are Max Force and Hitman. I can't imagine why they went with Maxi for the password. Were they intentionally trying to associate the character with feminine napkins? No, they weren't. But on a side note, I'm really excited about the release of the new Playtex 360. Level 1, Das Luftgang. Investigate the pipeline hideout. You come peeling out in a red sports car, which is just how I'd expect an art to travel, and right away it's clear that they have a bigger problem with armed homeless.
No! I don't have any chance!
Everyone is bald, and they all wear the same poop brown trench coat and pants with no shoes or shirt. For all the bags of cocaine they drop, you'd think they could swing a pair of shoes for $5. Maybe they all have oddly shaped feet, and it's just way easier to get coke than shoes in their size. Enemies come at multiple elevations at once, making it difficult to hit your mark without taking damage yourself. If you're close enough, you can bust your enemies instead for some extra points. This leaves you vulnerable to attack. Anytime that you aren't actively trying to dodge bullets, you're going to get hit. The best way I've found to get far in this game is with a friend. This is a huge help, but you're still not very well equipped to deal with the never-ending respawning hordes. The arcade version had 4 buttons: duck, jump, machine gun, and rocket launcher. Worse, the other button ducks by default and only jumps when you do the tap. You're just as likely to get hit when ducking, even more so since you're slower. Being able to jump around a lot in this game would have been great. At least then you're not as easy a target. There's only one situation where ducking comes into play in the whole game: the dogs. These things are vicious. They won't get off you until you kill them, and when you do, this happens. Okay, so you shoot a Doberman and he turns into a dachshund and runs away? I guess to tone down the violence? But watch what happens when you fire a rocket at these guys. Damn! Their body parts all over the place. I guess it's nice that they didn't show animals being mutilated in the game, but if you're going to leave this, why not at least have the balls to let those little assholes die? It's just so dissatisfying seeing those little things scamper off after all the grief they cause you. The object of each level is to find the keycard and get out alive. After that, your points are tallied up to see if you've earned some 1-ups. There are no level bosses in this game, just the promise that each level is going to be weirder than the last. And boy, does it deliver. Level 2. Bust Dr. Spike Rush, aka Hypo Man, and destroy the chemical plant. Peeling out again, you may notice our buddy cop buddies jamming to a very familiar tune. Where do I know that music from? Why didn't they put that in the title? I guess this was better. I'm sorry, but this just blows my mind. So down the street, past the chopper, and then you're on to destroying the meth lab. Here's the part where you can rack up some extra lives. If you're like me, you're gonna need every one of them. Just turn off your brain and wait for enemies to walk into you and bust them. Fun, right? No, it's not fun. But what is fun is Hypo Man. They actually made an enemy in a video game that shoots heroin syringes at you. Not only do these guys sell drugs, but they literally shoot you with them. I don't know if this means that you're addicted to heroin now, but you definitely get high, or at least flash when they hit you. Much more efficient sales tactic than...
Hey, Joey! I got some stuff you just gotta try. What is it?
Now you can expand your client base without the intervention of those blasted turtles.
Get real.
And behold the fruits of our labor. 1, 2, 3, 4 extra lives. Level 3, Joe Rockhead, aka Dumpster Man, an addict. very dangerous. This must be what happens when you take too many hits from Hypo Man. No need to tell kids the consequences of doing drugs. Just scare them into thinking if they do, they'll wind up looking like Mr. Hyde. Dumpster Man just takes a few more hits to kill than previous enemies anyway, so if anything, being an addict makes you stronger? It's fitting that the least imaginative enemy type is in the most boring level of the game. The idea, I think, is to drive the car through most of the stage. But look at what a pain it is to get in and out of the car. That's because you have to do that stupid tap jump. Look how long the map is. Yeah, that's the map. It's not like you can go any faster in the car. It gets blown to smithereens the first time you touch something. Here, you can kind of drive and shoot, but it's so tedious having to crawl along trying not to explode, all because you can't see what's coming ahead of you. This is one of the funniest things in the game. Boom! Take that, you little bastards! Finally, a little justice. Even if you were able to stay in the car through all that madness, you'll eventually get to a green pillar that takes up the whole screen and makes your car explode anyway. This is probably the worst driving stage I've ever played, if you can even call it that, but it's the very best sliding down a green pillar stage I've ever played. I heard there was some trick where you can max out your score by shooting down these helicopters a bunch of times, but I must have been doing something wrong. Honestly, I don't care. Level 4. Kinky Pinky. Protect the Innocent. Looks suspiciously like some other clown posse. Kinky Pinky and his 100 identical brothers with the same name are neither pink or kinky in any way. They just walk around like they got a load in their pants and stab at you. I'm not sure the reason behind them ruling the red light district. Yeah, see? Here's the adult bookstore. This is the level that suffered the most from the censorship necessary for Narc to be ported to the NES. Here's the adult bookstore, hotel, the hole-in-one. Wait, what? What could possibly be going on in a place called the Hole-in-One? Actually, maybe I don't wanna know? There, 2 wand jokes for the price of 1. The cave inside a building area stays mostly intact, except the graphics. Yeesh. There are also supposed to be prostitutes in this level. Protect them for extra points. Why did they leave this out? Level 5 has my favorite enemies, Sergeant Sky High, a known cultivator. Harvest time. Enjoy. I think I see where the inspiration for this game came from. Enjoying harvest time with Sergeant Sky High. Sky High runs the most conspicuous grow operation ever. It's covered in pot leaves and peace signs and has a sign that says Bub's Bus for some reason. Sky High looks like the guys from Contra. Even their weapons are similar. Maybe the peace signs are on the building to be ironic? The inside looks like half grow house, half hotel lobby. There's lots of marijuana to pick up for extra points, a few more nameless enemies, and really, that's about it. And it goes on and on and on. We're in the home stretch, level 6, HQ Posse. Bust 'em or blast 'em. Well, isn't that what you do with everybody? The coolest thing about this level, other than it looks a bit more detailed, are the pink Cadillacs that try and mow you down, because Narc loves hit and runs. So you walk past the Fanny Company, Hotel Le Snob, and Big Bank, encountering some familiar enemy types and dodging pink cars. On to Mr. Big International. Yay! Well, we finally encounter the HQ Posse, but to me they look more like cops than mobsters. Maybe I'm just hallucinating from staring at that trippy background. Why in the hell wasn't this in level 5? I guess the only other thing to note is the signs up on the wall. What was that supposed to say again?
Johnny, you better call the Public Works Department and have them get back out here to repair the crack.
Level 7. Mr. Big's impenetrable office. Well, apparently not, cause we're here. There's not much to say about this one. You walk from left to right and encounter the same enemy types as in previous stages. Then they have the nerve to split the sucker in half. All it is a color swap from the first half. It's just designed to eat up your lives before the final boss battle. Finally, we're up to Mr. Big. He's public enemy number 1. And he's also green with 3 chins and a neck belly. Ugh, another color swap? All you get here is a mishmash of the last 2 stages. The only real difference, I guess, are these Mr. Big pictures though. Oh my god, there he is! Watch what happens when you hit this guy.
Barrel roll, barrel roll, do a barrel roll, do a barrel roll, do a barrel roll.
After several hits, he finally lays down and dies. Then turns into a key card and we exit the level. It's about this time when I start feeling bad about picking on a guy in a wheelchair. But not to worry, Mr. Big lives. Boy, does he ever. Just look at this thing. Somehow when he disappeared and turned into a keycard, his head grew 20 times its size and sprouted metal legs. He starts shooting something at you too, but I'll be damned if I can figure out what it is. It looks maybe like a yellow crumpled up paper airplane or maybe a hat blowing in the wind. It doesn't matter. I don't know how to kill this thing. Double tapping for rockets and dodging yellow blankets plus staying away from Mr. Big is a pain in the ass. But worse, with no regular enemies to drop ammo, when you're out, it's game over, and you can't continue. I think I'm going to play this game never again.
I think the game is not over yet.
Stripped of its raunchiness and state-of-the-art sound and graphics with mutilated controls to top it all off.
Great. I always wanted to be an ice pick.